Hare. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So we're going to read a little bit from Bhagavad-gita and talk a little bit about. Okay. Four. Okay, so we're going to look at the seed slokas. So who's seen what's called the seed slokas of Bhagavad-gita? Have you guys looked at it? Yeah? Yes? Yes, very good. 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep. So let's have a look at that. And okay, so this is text 8. Now, let me put this down 1 second. Yeah. Is there more there? Oh, there. Yeah, everybody grab a Gita. There you go. Well, there's at least 4. And not one. So only use 2 more. Thank you. We can all take a turn. What we might do is... Oh, is it okay? All right, so what we might do is we'll chant the Sanskrit for text 8, and then we might just go through and read the English for all 4, so we get a feeling for what these 4 verses are as a flow together. Okay? Chapter 10, verse 8. All right, so this is chapter 10. And so just remember that this is spoken on a battlefield, Kurukshetra. There's literally millions of soldiers there. And Arjuna has faltered in his duty as a warrior. And Krishna, his good friend, is on the chariot with him. And Arjuna is asking Krishna different questions about should he fight, should he not fight, different doubts he has. And these 4 verses are really where Krishna unequivocally states or tells Arjuna what is his position. And interestingly, it's quite unique to Vaishnavism. If we look at the great spiritual traditions of the world, of course, the Buddha didn't say he was God. In fact, he said there was no God. Well, he didn't say there was no God, but he just didn't talk about it. He talked about attaining perfection through freedom from karma and attaining a state of no material nirvana, no material engagement. In the Christian tradition, I can't say I'm an expert, but as much as I think it's commonly understood that Lord Jesus Christ didn't say that. He didn't say, I am the source of everything, I am the one supreme God. He didn't say that. His followers, he said, I am the Son, the Father has sent me. And so many statements are there in the Christian Gospels. And in the Islamic tradition, we have Muhammad as being described as the prophet, the chosen prophet, messenger of God, right? So there really isn't any other main theological tradition in the world, actually, if we look at it, where the person imparting the knowledge has clearly stood up, and said, I am actually the Lord, the source of everything, the supreme consciousness that's manifested all other consciousness. So, no doubt that's a very grand claim for someone to say that. And interestingly, if we just take all of the great religious traditions, putting aside the sort of cults or the whatever fly-by-nights of people who claim that their guru's an incarnation or thing, but things that traditions where people have for hundreds or thousands of years actually attained solace, actually attained spiritual nourishment. If we just take their objective claims, we can see that this is a very unique claim, that Krishna has stood up and said, I am the supreme, I am the source of everything. So keep a level of incredulity, if that's the word, like just how incredible this is for someone to make this claim. Nobody in the history of any recorded history that we have given so many instructions so far. And he chants this sloka. I'll sing it together. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta savam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Let's all take a turn at chanting and we'll respond. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. There you go. Do you want to have a go? You don't have to. But you're right. Hamasa prabhavo mata savam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Very nice. Do you want to have a go, Bobby? Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Okay, we'll all together say the meaning of each of these words. So all together. Aham, I, sarvasya. Are we going to do it all together? All right, we'll do it responsively then, because that's what we're used to. The familiar is good, makes you comfortable. All right, let's start normally. Aham, I, sarvasya, of all, prabhava, the source of generation, mattaha, from me, sarvam, everything, pravartate, emanates, iti, thus, matva, knowing, bhajante, become devoted, mam, unto me, buddha, the learned, bhava samanvitaha, with great attention. All right, so It would be nice to read all 4 verses. So let's read this one, and then we'll go right to the next one. I am the source of all spiritual and material worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. Over the page, text 9. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. Text 10. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Wow. Just amazing. So, let's take it in turns to read this first purport, text 10.8. I'll read maybe 5-6 lines or something. We can check it over. So, purport by Srila Prabhupada. A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya. Do you want to grab a second mic, man? Thanks. A learned scholar who has studied the Vedas perfectly and has information from authorities like Lord Chaitanya and who knows how to apply these teachings can understand that Krishna is the origin of everything in both the material and spiritual worlds. And because he knows this perfectly, he becomes firmly fixed in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. He can never be deviated by any amount of nonsensical commentaries or by fools. All Vedic literature agrees that Krishna is the source of Brahma, Shiva, and all other demigods. In the Atharva Veda, it is said, it was Krishna who in the beginning instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge and who disseminated Vedic knowledge in the past. You want to go on from there, Tom?
Then again, the Narayana Upanishad says, Atha Puruso Havai Narayano.
You can just do this English.
Okay.
If you like. There's quite a lot of Sanskrit. Just keep to the English.
Then the Supreme Personality, Narayana, desired to create living entities. The Upanishads continued. From Narayana, Brahma is born, and from Narayana, the patriarchs are also born. From Narayana, Indra is born. From Narayana, the 8 Vasus are born. From Narayana, the 11 Rudras are born. From Narayana, the 12 Adityas are born. This Narayana is the expansion of Krishna. It is said in the same Vedas, stars in the sky, no sun. It is also said that Lord Shiva was born from the forehead of the Supreme Lord. Thus the Vedas say that it is the Supreme Lord, the creator of Brahma and Shiva, who is to be worshipped.
Do you want to keep going? What's your name, sorry? Gina. Oh, Virginia, sorry, Virginia. Want to keep going from there? Grab the mic. I think they might be streaming it on there.
In the Moksha Dharma section of the Mahabharata, Krishna also says, "The patriarchs Shiva and others are created by me, though they do not know that they are created by me because they are deluded by my illusory energy." In the Varaha Purana, it is also said, "Narayana is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and from him Brahma was born, from whom Shiva was born." Lord Krishna is the source of all generations, and he is called the most efficient cause of everything. He says, "Because everything is born of me, I am the original source of all. Everything is under me. No one is above me." There is no supreme controller other than Krishna. One who understands Krishna in such a way from a bona fide spiritual master with references from Vedic literature engages all his energy in Krishna consciousness and becomes a truly learned man. In comparison to him, all others who do not know Krishna properly are but fools. Only a fool would consider Krishna to be an ordinary man. A Krishna-conscious person should not be bewildered by fools. He should avoid all unauthorized commentaries and interpretations on the Bhagavad-gita and proceed in Krishna consciousness with determination and firmness.
Very nice. Are you using that mat? Can you just chuck it over here, just slightly? Thanks. Thank you. Very nice. Should we read the next purport? Let's keep reading, that's nice.
Purport for text 9. Pure devotees whose characteristics are mentioned here engage themselves fully in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Their minds cannot be diverted from the lotus feet of Krishna. Their talks are solely on the transcendental subjects. The symptoms of the pure devotees are described in this verse specifically. Devotees of the Supreme Lord are 24 hours daily engaged in glorifying the qualities and pastimes of the Supreme Lord. Their hearts and souls are constantly submerged in Krishna, and they take pleasure in discussing him with other devotees. In the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself, and in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. Lord Chaitanya likens transcendental devotional service to the sowing of a seed in the heart of the living entity. There are innumerable living entities traveling throughout the different planets of the universe, and out of them there are a few who are fortunate enough to meet a pure devotee and get the chance to understand devotional service. This devotional service is just like a seed, and if it is sown in the heart of a living entity, and if he goes on hearing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, that seed fructifies, just as the seed of a tree fructifies with regular watering. The spiritual plant of devotional service gradually grows and grows until it penetrates the covering of the material universe and enters into the Brahma Jyoti effulgence in the spiritual sky. In the spiritual sky also, that plant grows more and more until it reaches the highest planet, which is called Goloka Vrindavan, the supreme planet of Krishna. You want to finish that? You want to finish that?
Okay. Ultimately, the plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and rests there. Gradually, as a plant grows fruits and flowers, that plant of devotional service also produces fruits, and the watering process in the form of chanting and hearing goes on. This plant of devotional service is fully described in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 19. It is explained there that when the complete plant takes shelter under the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, one becomes fully absorbed in love of God. Then he cannot live even for a moment without being in contact with the Supreme Lord. Just as a fish cannot live without water, in such a state, the devotee actually attains the transcendental qualities in contact with the Supreme Lord. The Srimad Bhagavatam is also full of such narrations about the relationship between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Therefore, the Srimad Bhagavatam is very dear to the devotees. As stated in the Bhagavatam itself, 12, 13, 18, in this narration there is nothing about material activities, economic development, sense gratification or liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam is the only narration in which the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord and his devotees is fully described. Thus the realized souls in Krishna consciousness take continual pleasure in hearing such transcendental literature, just as a young boy and girl take pleasure in association. It's interesting here, this point that in the second chapter of this purport, in the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. And in the mature stage, they are actually situated in love of God. Once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection, which is exhibited by the Lord in his abode. This is, I've heard this point basically said, the same point by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that in the beginning stages the devotees get pleasure, or their relationship with Krishna is through the service. And in the mature stage, they're actually situated in a direct relationship with Krishna. This section that's being talked about here of Chaitanya Charitamrita is a series of verses. There's the Bengali goes like this: Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. That the living entity is wandering through millions of lifetimes. And the spiritual seed of service is given by the spiritual master, and that devotee takes up that service. So there is also described that in this conditional stage within the material world, the living entities are forgetful of Krishna. What is that? Krishna Bulya She Jiva Anadi Bahimukha. You know the second part? Something. Ataiva samsara maya samsara dukkha. You know the third line? Krishna Bulya means forgetting Krishna. Krishna Bulya Sejiva Anadi Bahimukha. So the living entities in this world practically immemorial, like practically they can't even remember when they first came in contact with the material world. It's practically anadi. It means like there's no origin. Just like we can remember the origin of the United States of America, for example. You know, there was some people that were being persecuted in England and Europe, and they went over there to have religious freedom, and then they established their own country on the basis of democracy because they didn't like the misuse of power, but different things like that. So we can understand this is the adi, this is the origin of this place called the United States of America. We can so many things. We can see what is the origin of different associations, society. What is the origin of our body? We can see pictures when we're a little baby. We might be able to see pictures like that. But Lord Chaitanya explains that we cannot actually see, we cannot perceive what is the origin of our first coming into this material world. We've been here so long, just so long. We're completely conditioned to think that we belong here. We are part of this world. This is our home, and next body, we can take body as a cat. Oh, I have a very nice home here in front of the fire. My owner gives me nice milk. Next body we might be as a human being or some demigod in heaven. But whatever the body is, where we don't ever remember. So in such a state, and of course we can read from Bhagavad-gita chapter 7. Is that 7? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. There's all these material coverings of the living entity. They begin with false ego because this false ego is a false sense of self. It's a very subtle covering over the soul, where the soul starts to think, oh, I'm not actually this pure spiritual entity. I'm actually something else. I'm become part of this world. I'm like a big Lord Brahma, or I'm some amazing thing or whatever. And gradually that false ego changes, but the element false ego is the first thing. So then there becomes the intelligence. It's working to figure out how to achieve the goals, and then the mind is feeling and willing, and then the physical bodies manifest. So there's all these coverings upon coverings, layer, what is that? Layer upon layer upon layer. What is that? There's some ad like that when I was a kid. Layer upon layer, some chocolate ad or something like layer upon layer upon layer. Is that, I think it was in Swedish. Layer upon layer, something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But this is where we're under, layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of material consciousness, life after life after life after life, times, if you do maths, times 10 times to the power of 100. And practically they're saying another is like to the power of infinity. Like imagine like 1,000,000 to the power of like 1,000,000 to the power of 1,000,000 to, like, it's just, we can't conceive this material time, how long we've been here. This is what the Vedas are telling us. So, in this situation, we are so forgetful of our eternal swarup, our eternal relationship with Krishna, that we cannot possibly just, I understand. We cannot possibly. And there is a type of devotees, they're called sahajiyas. Sahaji comes from the word saha means with, and ja, sahaja, ja means born. So sahaja means like natural in Sanskrit. Sahaja comes with the born, like natural, something that's natural. It's with him. He was born with it. This kind of. So sahaja is a type of devotee that thinks, yes, we have it as very easily. We just think that we are a peacock dancing with Krishna, and we meditate very hard on what it's like to be a peacock in the spiritual world, and then we attain perfection. We don't have to do any chanting. We don't even have to follow any regulative principles. We can do whatever we want. Just got to think that we're a peacock and we'll attain perfection at the end of this life. So sahajiya, they're thinking it's very easy. But our great teachers in our tradition, starting with Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, all of the great teachers, right back to Shukadeva Goswami, right back to Krishna himself, is telling us that, and Lord Chaitanya is very clearly telling us in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that we're extremely covered, layer upon layer upon layer. But the good news, we don't want to leave you all with this very bad news, but the good news is what Krishna is giving here, and Srila Prabhupada stating here, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says the same thing, that we can connect through Krishna through service, right? We can't directly connect through Krishna by what is our actual eternal relationship with him. We don't know. It's so forgotten, right? And if we try to do that, it's just a kind of imagination. It's like pretending something. Doesn't mean anything. Like a little baby pretending, I have $1 million note here, this is something. It's just a pretend. I have my swarup something. Don't get tricked by this. It's very, very cheap, artificial. But Prabhupada Bhaktivinoda Thakur was saying you can connect with Krishna, that's through service. Prabhupada says here, in the preliminary stage of devotional service, they relish the transcendental pleasure from the service itself. From the service itself. See? So when we do some service for Krishna, we might be able to cook for Krishna, help somebody's cooking for Krishna. We might be able to sing for Krishna. Not might, we can. Sing for Krishna in the kirtan, read Krishna's books as service to Krishna. Somehow that service is a connection to Krishna, and that's we feel bliss from that, isn't it? We feel that, otherwise why are we here? We wouldn't be. What is everyone else in Moolumbar doing today? How many is it? 11,000 people? And there's 4 of us here. What are the other 10,996 people doing? No, of course there's so many devotees here doing other things as well, but what are the other 10,000 people what's more important than hearing about your actual identity, your actual who you are, right? And your eternal, most beloved Lord. What's more important? I don't know. So many things. Just ask. It's not a normal thing. It's very unique, but it's very special. It's very special. But this is the reason we're here is because we've had some taste, isn't it? I think, at least I remember, going back a long time now, actually this month has been, I joined the temple 30 years ago this month in Brisbane Temple. So it was a long time back. I can't remember that much. No, I can, but so it's kind of like, I just think actually I kind of like wasted so much time. If I'd have known, Or before that, I completely wasted my time. Well, I mean, in some sense, I was looking for something, so there was some sincerity there. But even in that 30, like I could have, it's just, you don't realize how important it is until later on. You go, oh my God, I could have, this thing that I'm dealing with now, this like anatta, this improper mentality, I could have dealt with this 25 years ago. But there's so many other things, and they're running here, doing this. So really the main thing is to, Prabhupada said once, they said, what's the best service we can do for you? The book distribution is this and that. And Prabhupada thought for a moment, he said, the best thing you can do for me is become Krishna conscious. Actually Krishna conscious. He's actually trying to serve Krishna, trying to do my activities. What does Krishna want me to do? What would my Guru Maharaj, if my Guru or some, my teacher, whoever's my people that I'm taking guidance from, if they walked in right now and saw me doing this, would they be happy? Would they be spiritually pleased with what I'm doing? Or would they think, that's not wasting time? Why are you wasting your time? So anyway, this is something that sticks out to me, that this idea that we connect to Krishna through service, and by doing that, it says here, in the mature stage, once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection which exhibited by the Lord in His abode. In other words, they're actually seeing Krishna. They're not in Moolumbar doing service. They're in Golokabha, whatever, I don't know, whatever parts. Well, we know, right? Mahavan, Bandiravan, all the different, forests of Vrindavan, where different pastimes are happening. They're actually there. So this is the perfect stage. But in the stage, in the beginning, we have to connect through service. What the best service we can do, the more service we can do, the better. Of course, we have to be balanced. We don't want to be like that, what's it called, the shooting star. It's gone out already. We don't want to be like that. We have to be balanced, that we can come to the intense level of service that we can do and maintain that. And we know that within ourselves. We have to be introspective a little bit, right? Science of self-realization. It's called the science of self-realization. It's not the science of somebody else realization. It's a science of self-realization. It includes understanding our emotional state, our physical state, our health, how much we can push our body, how much we can, do austerities or restrict our mind from doing things that we naturally do. So like that, we come to the service level that we can do, working with other devotees. We're always talking, checking with other devotees, senior devotees, people that we respect and have some experience. And that a level that we can then continue and keep doing that. And then Krishna's explaining, Lord Chaitanya explains that gradually that connection of just service, and we're doing service, then that gradually moves into more knowledge of Krishna. Who is Krishna? What is Krishna? What is his qualities, feelings? What is his activities? And we gradually become attracted to a particular type of, service, particular, and then within that. So that gradually, very, very gradually and very permanently, we can move from just connecting through service to that service remains always. The service is always there, but then that service blossoms into full-blown love of Godhead. And as Prabhupada's saying here, once situated in that transcendental position, they can relish the highest perfection exhibited by the Lord in his abode. So, that was something that stuck out to me a little bit in this purport. That just wonder where is the microphone? Can we all share a little bit? Just share some insights, or maybe if you want to raise your hand if you've got one off the bat about these purports. Does anyone want to go first? Tom, jump in.
Thank you for the lesson. So when you talk about people's realizations when they actually experience Krishna's pastimes, obviously they're physically still in the material world, but they've their perception of reality has shifted to a higher level, so they can experience Krishna in a way that's kind of above the material conception of life. Right as because there's obviously people in Vrindavan that are pure devotees or whatever, and they're experiencing actually these higher levels of consciousness, but they're still in the material world. Can you expand a bit on that, maybe?
Starting from the bottom level, somebody is very atheistic, either philosophically atheistic, where they have a whole philosophy that there's no supreme control and blah blah blah, or even just what Hridayananda Maharaj calls, psychologically atheistic. That they don't sort of talk about it, but there's just no room in their psychology for a supreme being that they love and everything. It's just they're just so absorbed in their day-to-day activities and working and everything. So going from that very end, that's the complete absorption in matter. In other words, 100% of the mind is totally absorbed in matter, the material world. They don't think about that. And then gradually as you go, people who are religious or spiritually minded and they do some practice, some meditation, or they study some sacred literature, then they're coming to that. They're in the material world, but then they're also developing a sense for a higher reality, that they're experiencing that. Krishna says, Pratyaksha-avagamam dharmyam, I think chapter 9, verse 2, I think. This is directly perceived, this spiritual process. And so then they sort of both combined. And then on the full, complete level, we can see that in the case of Narada Muni, he described that when he attained enlightenment, his material body just ceased to exist. There was no need, or there was no connection with having a body anymore, a material body, So there's all stages along that situation. We as jivas, we accept that Sri Chaitanya is Vishnu Tattva. He's the Supreme Lord. So we can't say we experience exactly what he did, but we can. His experiences are very well documented in this regard in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where it said that he had three types of consciousness. There was his just material consciousness, just day to day, going, taking bath, getting dressed, doing all the things. Then there was partly internal, partly external, where he was partly in Vrindavan he was experiencing things, and he was partly conscious of this world as well. And then there was times when he was completely internal, and like the time when he went to Puri and fell down in front of the deity, the time he was caught by the fisherman's net and all his arms were all extended out, he was completely in the spirit. And when finally the devotees got him and just had to chant the Hare Krishna in his ear, continually chant the mantra until he came back to external consciousness, and he was a little bit cross with them, and he said, "What have you done?" "I was with Krishna. I was with Radha's friends, and we were stringing flower garlands for Krishna, to make for Krishna. And then somebody said, Krishna's there, let's go here. He was just describing that he was in the pastimes with Krishna, and then he'd been brought back into this world. And so like that, Rupa Goswami and many acharyas, you can read Narottam Das Thakur and many great saints like that, they explain these situation of being, especially in Vrindavan, because Krishna is super present in Vrindavan, that they have direct experience of the spiritual world, and that can, at least for me, that gives me a lot of faith in this, that they all describe the same thing. They'll describe the same reality, and the same people are there, and the same activities, even though they're independently having a spiritual trance, like they're in a spiritual vision there, but then they all describe the same reality and who they are. They even interact with each other in that reality. It's something that there's one verse, Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukto Bina Tvam Nama Namino. There's that verse that the name of Krishna, Nama Chinta, is like a transcendental touchstone. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukta. It's eternally liberated. Bina Tvam Nama Namino. There's another verse I'm thinking actually, this one. Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Padma Purana. Bhagavad-gita Indriya Sevan Mukhehi Jivado Swayameva Spirachuta. Exactly the same point actually here. Sevan Mukhehi Jivado. That Ata Sri Krishna Namadi, like the name of Krishna, like his name, what actually is Krishna's name? Now we say Krishna, like we say the words, but the pure devotees, it's not the name. Not the name of Krishna. Krishna. Like there's some difference between some just stranger person calling out your name, number 32, Tom, your number's up, or something like that, compared to like your most loving mother or father or beloved friend or whatever calling you, hey Tom, there's a difference in the name. That's just a material, small example. They say Krishna's name is transcendental, right? So Krishna's name, his form, his qualities, his pastime. Na bhaved grayam indriya. Grayam means to grasp. Same English word, grasp, means you can't grasp with the senses the name, the form, in other words what Krishna looks like actually, his pastimes, what he does. You can't grasp them with the material mind and the senses. Well, lucky you can't, right? Because you can understand this is beyond the senses. That's the whole philosophy. The spiritual world is beyond the senses. So if we could understand it with our senses, it wouldn't be transcendental. It wouldn't be something that we want to go to. It wouldn't be another place, another reality. It'd be like, we're already here. No, we can't grasp. Sevan mukhe jivado. So jiva means the tongue. Seva. Sevan mukhe. By doing service, beginning with the tongue, like chanting Hare Krishna, taking prasadam. Swayam eva. Swayam means like personally. Swayam eva, certainly. Spurati. Adaha, him, adaha, it's Buddha, Buddha, like he manifest. Swayameva, he personally manifests those things. So, the exact same point actually here, right? We're connected through the service. Through that service, we can't understand Krishna any other way. We can't understand by thinking about it. So, if we try to understand is it this or is it that? Or when they're in Vrindavan, that or so. Like we can think about it, but really the process is that process. By serving, by chanting, by reading, by hearing, then Krishna reveals himself. As we go along more, he reveals. Oh, wow. Oh, I get it now. Oh, I get it. But we, in the beginning, we couldn't get it if we just think about it, try to understand it. But we get it by doing the service. It's revealed. Yeah. Valuable.
Thank you. Yeah, so, and obviously, as time goes on and you're serving and chanting, and you kind of start to see more Krishna's hand at play in your life in a way that's, it kind of takes also less mind and more just faith in the higher, that there's a higher being that's controlling everything pretty much. Yeah. And you can't really, our mind tries to try to picture it, but you can't really, it kind of cuts off the process in some way. Yeah. Like the mind is, because
it's material mind, it's trying to understand. And everything in the material world is about trying to control and enjoy and dominate the material world. So, like I was saying the other day, material science is all about how matter interacts. I can control this, control. Whereas Vedic science, the modes of material nature, all these different things, they're how consciousness interacts with the material energy to try to get free from it. Yeah. So, and another thing about it is that if we look at the perfection stage, it's not a highly intellectual mental stage of, I understand that God, Krishna is God, everything, and I'll serve him. Like the residents of Vrindavan, that's it described, right? They don't even really think about Krishna as God, the source of all. Like he's saying here, source of all material spiritual worlds, but they don't think like that. So if we want to have a loving, flowing relationship with Krishna, and at the same time keep all this tattva as he's the Supreme Lord and everything like that in our heads, even the residents of Vrindavan don't do that. Why would we try and do that? So it's a little bit the separate process. Ishapanishad verse 11 is pretty clear on this. Like the process of understanding the material world and how to get free from it, that's one side of it. And the process of loving the Supreme Lord and the faith, and like you said, it's faith. It's not just like, oh, I believe and that's it. It's not like that. Yeah, it's actually real. That the faith is actually what you start to work on, like what you should be working on. I can't say I'm any very far down that track, but at least I can understand. I was listening to one sannyasi, friend devotee that I respect recently. He was giving class, and somebody asked him a question about something, and I could just see the way he answered it was that he had faith. Like it didn't matter what they were saying, and it wasn't a mental faith. It wasn't like, this is what I believe and I'm going to fight to the death for my belief. It was just that his faith wasn't disturbed. He was like, and I could understand that's what, as you go further, like it's not sort of much like, oh, do I trust this philosophy and these people, are they right or not right? Like you start to feel like, oh yeah, that's that. Yeah, it's a feeling of faith, but at the same time that mind works all the way up to the perfection. When we're fully liberated, then we don't need any of the knowledge. That's why the Bhakti Shastras say in the ultimate issue they kick away knowledge and that, because knowledge is how to deal with the material world, how to not get entangled. Ishapanishad verse 11 describes this, how to not get entangled. But how to get into the spiritual world, that's a process of faith and love and giving your heart trust in Krishna. Like, hey Krishna, please guide me in my life. How I can get out of this. You know better than me. So let me try to. And it's hard. It's not easy because we're so used to it, you know.
So it's like the relationship between the soul and the super soul that kind of strengthens, and then it's
yeah.
yeah.
It's there, eternally there. That's what the Upanishads say. It's like two birds in a tree, and one bird is just trying to eat the fruits and enjoy, and the other bird's just watching as a super soul. And then one day that the bird gets tired of just trying to enjoy and yakka and turns around. Oh, I have a friend here. Do you want to share something, Virginia, please? Thanks, Tom. Really good points. Yeah.
Krishna consciousness is a fairly new thing for me. Like I've always
me too. Yeah.
believed and praised God, but to put Krishna's face as God is new.
Yeah.
And I felt what you said about nobody else has ever claimed to be God. That really spoke a lot to me.
Yeah.
And it helped me put it together in my mind. I felt like this whole class has really helped me put it together in my mind. That Krishna is that. That Krishna is the face of God. So that's really helped me a lot, actually.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's easy to sort of overlook that and just say, oh yeah, Krishna's saying that. It's like, hang on, nobody else has ever said that. Just objectively, just like whatever the belief, like there's no other genuine spiritual tradition where, you know, somebody said, yeah, I this is, and it doesn't just say that. I mean, I'm sure you've read a bit of Bhagavad-gita. He gives a whole explanation of how the material world works, the three modes of nature, how we travel through different bodies, how the earth, water, fire, ether, the subtle body, the gross body, like he describes everything as well. Yeah. Go on.
And also too, like I haven't really read much of the Bhagavad-gita to be honest. Like I've read bits of it, but not much of it. And what was my point going to be? Where Krishna acknowledges the demigods Shiva and Brahma. Like I hadn't read or heard anything about Krishna acknowledging their existence before. Like I just didn't know how to place that in where they fit.
Yeah.
Because there's so many in India.
There's so many gods in the Hindu sort of pantheon. Yeah.
So that was very helpful for me as well.
Yeah.
I'm excited to read the Bhagavad-gita. Like this class has really excited me.
Oh, thank you.
I think I'm ready to read it again. Yeah.
Yes. Happy to hear that. It's wonderful.
So thank you.
Thank you. It's all Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Prabhupada is expert. We just have to read what he said and then talk our understanding. That's it. Yeah. It is interesting. I was reflecting when you were saying that I think it's Islamic, or one of the religions says, you know, you cannot look on the face of God. You heard that? I think it's in Islam that say you can never look on the face of God. I had my sister, she was, I don't know how much she is now, but previously she was married to a sort of Catholic, pretty strong, and she was quite determined. And one time I was discussing with her like about God and this and that and how God can come to this world. She says, but it says that you can never look on the face of God. She said like that. I said, yeah, but God wrote the scripture that he can, if he wants to, he can decide, you know. Like he wrote the book that says, oh, you can't look on the face of me, whatever. But if he decides he can come to this world. She said, no, you can never see God in this world. It says in the scripture. I said, yeah, but God is above the scripture. He wrote. And she looked at me and she said, what? You're not saying God's a person, are you? So that was the response to that. So it's interesting that when you sort of really get into it with people of the main traditions and religions, we all agree, we should serve God, we should love God. But when it comes to the point of looking on the face of God, or God has desire, God does things, God has a form, like there's just nothing there. They don't, those philosophies just don't go there. They just don't go there, as you said, except for the Vedic tradition, Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad-gita, and all the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very, very clear. And just like in Bhagavatam class now, we've been discussing the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, what it's like, what it looks like, how the people dress, how they walk, what they do, the relationships between men and women there even. There's like husbands and wives, pure, but there's no actual sort of like, stuff like that goes on down here, because they just have zero desire for that. So, it's just really practical about what it's like there, information. So, yeah. Thank you for bringing this up. Thank you.
Can I mention something
please
on that
share
point
something
that you just brought up?
Yeah.
That it sometimes feels like most traditions put God on this platform where he must be so austere for eternity. He shouldn't have a relationship. Unattainable and, it kind of
unknowable, you mean? Is that what you mean as well?
Well,
that we can't know him, or
unknowable, but they don't want to give him a form or a face, which kind of limits him and doesn't really mean he's God if he can't.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, how can you be God if you can't do everything?
So it's like we can have relationships, we can have face, we can decorate ourselves, we can have nice clothes and everything. But God, no, he's just like a light.
So a lot of Catholicism...
So it's actually like you're more superior than God, right? You have more qualities than
and Islam.
Yeah.
A lot of those traditions, they make it difficult for their practitioners because there's no loving relationship with God, actually. Because God cannot possibly be a person with whom you can have a loving relationship.
That's why you see generally in those traditions, there is not really the concept of devotional service, as Krishna is talking about here. It's generally more sort of like welfare activities within the world. There's not that concept of like, we're directly serving the Lord, we're offering things to the deity, we're doing these service. There's a tinge of that, obviously, that there's talk about love of God, and Jesus of course said, love God with all your heart. But then how much can you love something that you don't know who they are, what they feel, how they do, whatever, I want you to love this guy, Tom, this person, he's amazing, I just want you to love him. Just, why would I love, tell me about him, what's amazing? Oh, no, I can't do that. I don't know anything. We don't know anything about him, but you got to love him. It's a bit...
no, you have to love him or you'll be punished.
How much? Yeah, well, that's another thing. It gets very...
Yeah.
So we're going to stop at 6,
no
and
loving.
It's 10 past 6, and I also need to be somewhere at 6:30. So thank you so much for coming. It's really nice to share this time and reading Bhagavad-gita. Hare Krishna. All right. Hare Bol. Yeah, we do this every Thursday night. Yeah. Every Thursday. And I think soon Ikshvaku will be back in the next week or two, and he'll do this class every Monday. He does a Bhagavad-gita overview every Monday night. Nice.